Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this right here, Raids. This is a game that's designed by Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert, put out by Iello. And as you can see, it's a great looking game, Baboon. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but the artist there has done a very good job at putting some very picturesque images onto cardboard and the board so that we can enjoy ourselves playing the game. So let's get down to the table and see how it plays, and we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments. So here I have set up for you a 4-player game of Raids by Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert from Iello. And basically what you're going to be doing is navigating around this area, trying to pick up these different tiles to score points and so forth and so on. And those points are derived from different thematic elements. For example, the Mjolnir sign, if you have it on your boat, is going to give you 1 point for each Viking that you have on your ship. You're going to be picking up livestock every once in a while to score this number of points. When you sell it to a port, that will show up in future rounds. You can fight monsters that will give you a certain number of points depending on how strong they are. You can pick up more Vikings at villages and at visiting spots. You can pick up sails that will give you more Vikings at the end of your journey each round. And so that is, generally speaking, you can pick up weapons over here that will help you fight the different monsters that are out there. Runes are going to be a set collection type of thing. So there's a number of different things that you can do. But generally speaking, you can stop at any of these different sites throughout the course of your journey. And the person who is in last place is actually the person who will go first. So the first player was determined earlier, and green was the first player, so they're actually placed in the last spot here in the harbor space. So they're going to take and go around, and they can stop at any of these unless there is this arrow that is at some of these different spots. And that means you have to simply pass over them. And when you pass over them, for example, this one here is a visit tile. The first person to pass over this is going to be able to take 2 Vikings and put it on their ship. So I'm going to go ahead and pass through that. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop here, which means that I'm going to try to pick up this livestock to sell at a dock that's going to show up later on. But that's my claim on this tile. At the end of my movement, I don't pick it up. I have to wait until the beginning of my next turn. So then the next person is going to go in order, and they can stop wherever they'd like to. Maybe they want to stop here. They would actually pick this up and add it to their boat. And now at the beginning of their next turn, they're going to be able to add this to their boat if they don't get fought for it. And then finally, this person here is going to go, let's see here. Well, let's go all the way over here to Mjolnir. And this, they're going to go ahead and pick up 1 of their Vikings and add it to their ship as they pass by that village. And now this person is the last person to go in the turn. So what they have to do first is remove all tiles between them, their position, and the nearest ship. And now they have to at least move to this position, which would cause a conflict, but they don't have to stop there. They can go ahead and move further on if they want to. So they're not going to stop here because the way a conflict works, it's disadvantageous for them to do it. So they're going to go ahead and go all the way over here. As they pass by the village, they'll pick up a Viking to put on their ship. And now that is the end of their first turn. So now we come back to the person who's in last place, and they are going to be able to take their sails here and put it on their ship. All right, and now they can go to their next phase, which is the navigate phase. All right, so we can continue to go around and let's see. I think we're going to go ahead and stop here and try to get this axe, maybe helpfully fight against that monster over there. And so now this person, green, is able to go and take these sheep and put it on their ship. And we're going to continue. Let's see here. We're going to go all the way over, passing by that village. coming around, passing by this village, and landing here in this livestock. So this village will give me one Viking. This village will give me another Viking. And now I'm ready to pick that up if nobody fights me for it. Lastly, we have to go here. This one's going to be picked up and placed on here like that. And now we're going to, let's see here. We're going to pass by this village and stop here. So this village will give me a token there. And now this is picked up and added to the side, because any ship that has the boat graphic on it down here at the bottom is added to your ship. And sometimes they'll have shields on them, sometimes they won't. These don't have any ship graphic there at the bottom, so that tells you that they're not placed on your ship. They're just placed off to the side, and it'll score you points possibly at the end of the game. Now, between this person and this person, all tiles are removed. And now he has to come at least this far, but he doesn't have to stop there. He has 4 Vikings over here, and so does that person. So he's actually going to fight. So in order to start a fight, he has to discard 1 Viking to the battle. And now the next person has the choice to either retaliate, which means they're going to continue fighting, or they can flee. If they want to flee, they just simply leave this place and go to the next open spot. If they want to retaliate, however, they have to take 2 Vikings and add it to the battle, which is 1 more than the other person. Now, the next person has to take 3 Vikings and add it to, because it is +1 more than 2 here. So he'll take the 3 here, and now they will have to add 4. They can't, so pink has to leave. So they'll pass by here, picking up 1 Viking, and then they will come, let's see here, all the way over here. Now, they passed over a monster. When you pass a monster, since it has that arrow, you can't actually stop there. But what you have to do is either fight it or sacrifice a Viking to it so that it'll leave you alone. In order to fight, you have to discard a number of Vikings that's equal to its point value, which would be all 3 of theirs, which, you know what, we're going to go ahead and do that. So we'll discard all 3 of our Vikings, and that will allow us to take this and put it next to us, and that will score us points at the end of the game. And we pass by that spot and land on the runes here. Now, your journey doesn't actually end until you reach back to the harbor, as the pink ship has done here. Now, in the first round, it's very simple. A number of points are awarded to the person who comes back first, second, and third, with the last person not getting any points. So with pink having gone back to the harbor first, they're going to be able to take 6 points and add it to their ship. Then it comes back down to the blue player here is going to go ahead and take this sail and add it to them, and then they're going to come back to harbor as well, scoring 3 points for theirs. And then green is going to take this sail and actually have to lose a guy, because he's going to place this sail in a spot that has 2 shields, but the tile only has 1 shield. So he's going to have to lose a guy like that. And then he's going to come back to port. Oh, one thing I forgot. When blue passed this place here, he had to lose a guy to do that. But when green passes, they're going to go ahead and just lose 3 dudes like this and take those points for himself. And then finally, orange will come back and not get any money, although green was able to get 1 coin. And of course, orange took this as well for some goods. And now what will happen here is this will be replaced with the second journey harbor. Now, what this means is that the person who gets back first doesn't necessarily get 6 points. It's the person who has the most defeated monster tiles in their thing. So the person who has the most defeated tiles is going to be at 6 when they come back. And if there's any ties, then the person who came back to harbor first will be the person to get 6, 3, and 1. So, beginning of the second round, all of these different tiles are placed out. And then once those have been placed out, villagers, Vikings are put in the villages, and any tiles, for example, this pillage tile is going to get 3 coins and 1 coins respectively. And now we're ready to start the second round. You'll notice a couple of different cards that are, or tiles that have come up. For example, these are the port tiles where players will be able to sell their goods that they picked up on their first journey. This one allows you to sell 1 good, while this one allows you to sell 2. And they both give you a Viking, the ability to recruit a Viking on your turn as well. You see some new goods that are coming out that are worth more points, monsters that are a little bit stronger, and that continues to ramp up as you go through each of the different ages. But this is generally how you play a game of raids. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. So that's that for how you play raids from Iello. It is a very general, fun, simple game to play, and not very difficult at all. There were a couple of things that were a little wonky. We'll get into those in just a few moments, but overall, this was a pleasant experience, and everybody that I've played it with so far has really enjoyed it. Now, some of the pros of the game are, first of all, the component quality is great. This is actually what you would expect from a company like Iello. Their artwork is amazing. The component quality is great. I mean, it comes with metal coins in the box. Now, there's not a whole lot of them here, which is why they probably were able to afford doing this, but in the core game, you have these metal coins. That's really great. That kind of takes the game to the next level, in my opinion, so to speak. But even past the metal coins, all of the other components were very well done. The artwork is great on all of the components, not just the cover art, but everything just looks great, and I love it when games have a very aesthetic feel, a very aesthetic look that pulls people in and makes people say, hey, what is that thing over there? And they're drawn into it. So I love that. Component quality, artwork, out of the park. The gameplay itself was absolutely fun. Simple, but fun. And the reason I say that is because there are very simple mechanisms employed in this game. It is simply moving around a rondel, I guess you could say, and choosing which stop you're going to stop at, with some of those caveats that we went over in the game. That seems almost too simple, but there are some pretty weighty decisions that you have to make, because especially with some of those tiles like the runes, the more that people accumulate, the more points it's going to get. If they get 5 of those rune tiles, then they're going to be scoring 15 points for that set at the end of the game, and they can also start on another set if they have 5 to begin with. So that's a lot of points. So are you going to stop and fight that guy for the rune, or are you just going to keep going and try to stick to your own game plan? Those are the kinds of decisions that you have to make, and they're simple, light, and yet they still offer a very fun, tense environment to play in. Another pro of the game is, and I usually don't talk too much about this, but the box insert is really well done. Everything fits very snugly and very compactly in this. It is a well-designed box insert, and while it isn't flashy like some of the other inserts that I've talked about, like game tray inserts for a lot of other things, it is functional, and it holds the game in a very easy to get into. Like, I'm not having to, these come out very simply and very easily. I don't have to dig at it or dig them out or something like that. So the box insert is actually a pro in this case, because it makes setting the game up a little bit faster, and that's a huge plus in my book. Now, as far as cons are concerned, I do have at least one, and that one is simply this. I don't know how replayability is going to work here, because there are a number of tiles in each of the 4 stacks for each of the 4 rounds that exactly equal the number of spaces that are on the board. So the only thing that's going to change is the order in which you encounter them from game to game, not what you're encountering. And I don't know for sure if that's going to be enough to kind of cover the replayability base here. Now, I will say that the harbors, you only use 3 of these to begin with each round, because the first round you get the basic harbor that just is 6 points for whoever gets back first, 3 for second, 1 for third, and nothing for fourth. That's the one that you use at the beginning of every game. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other harbors, and you're only going to use 3 of them. So there is some replayability value in the harbors, but I don't know if that's going to be enough, again, to cover that replayability base. I don't know if this is enough intrigue to keep people involved. For example, we showed you the one that has whoever has the most monsters, and then whoever has the most goods is going to get those 6 points. Whoever has the most sails is going to get the 6 points. Whoever has the most axes, whoever has sold the most goods at these different ports, whoever has the most runes, and whoever has the most shields. So those are the different things that are going to be awarding those bonus points at the end of each journey. But I don't know if that's enough to cover this replayability issue that I think raids might have. So with all that having been said, I'm going to give this one a strong 8 out of 10 with my seal of approval. I am a sucker for Viking games. You all know this, and I am very upfront about that. And this is a very well-designed game that happens to be themed in a Viking theme. I don't think it's so much a Viking game, but the artwork, the components, they all take that theme and bring it a little bit more to life than I've seen other games do. So while it isn't necessarily a Viking game, it is a Viking themed game, and I'm okay with that, and I really did enjoy it. So 8 out of 10 for me for Raids from Iello. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.